Okay, so I want to make a video on why we cannot trust white Asians. And when I say white Asians, I'm not talking about all Asians. I'm just not talking about pale Asians. I'm talking about a caste status. Whiteness is not a race, whiteness is a caste status, and Asians have gained a white caste status. And these white Asians are Asians that hold a mentality or attitude or ideology that is there to maintain the caste system. Now, I want to mention that there has been a mass shooting targeting Asians, and the reason why I want to bring that up is because even though that's happening, when I was browsing these Asian subreddits, which is basically a social media platform that involves message boards, I saw that the top posts on these subreddits were basically Asians trying to get black or ADOS people fired. Now, that stood out to me because there's all this Kung flu, anti-Asian sentiment, all these attacks, and that's still one of their focuses is um, eliminating black people. So this is going to tie into why I don't believe we can trust most white Asians. If we look at the first person they're trying to fire, her name is Alison Collins. She's a San Francisco school board member, and they basically found some old tweets of hers. And here's one of the tweets. She basically said that Asian Americans used white supremacist thinking to assimilate and get ahead. Okay, so this was in the context of her talking about anti blackness in the Asian community, and she stated an opinion. This is one of the tweets that they're mad about. There's no slurs, there's no dehumanization. It's literally just a opinion that's based on facts that some Asians do adopt white supremacist thinking to assimilate into whiteness. Now, there's another tweet that people are a bit more upset about, and she basically says these Asians, these specific Asians she's talking about with this mentality, are house niggas. Now, people are in an uproar about that, even though house nigga in this context, she's just saying that's using it to sum up um, Asians with that mentality, and I have proof of that. Basically, I went and I looked on some other Asian subreddits, and there was a highly voted post there where Asians were talking about the term Uncle Chan. Now, in the post, they describe what an Uncle Chan is here. An Uncle Chan is any Asian who willingly believes or acts to further the agenda of white supremacy towards Asians while simultaneously denying its existence. So here are Asians recognizing that other Asians adopt cannot adopt white supremacist thinking to assimilate into whiteness. So Asians basically saying exactly what she said. And they even use the term Uncle Chan. Okay, so I went on Urban Dictionary and I looked up the word house nigga. And it says it's often used to designate blacks who serve a white like their slaves. Also see Uncle Tom. So house nigga is equivalent to Uncle Tom, and Asians came up with the term by borrowing the term Uncle Tom, okay, which is an Uncle Chan, and that Uncle Chan is exactly what she described. So these is Asians basically saying exactly what she said, but when she said it, she's anti-black. Now, I can understand some of the reasons why some of them they're not pervy on these terms, but they didn't want to Google it, and it's kind of funny that they're really offended that they were called basically black. I think that's what I guess was the offense. And if I when I was looking at all the comments of all these posts in these different Asian subreddits, they were basically none of them engaged her opinion. It was just like talking about firing and calling her a hypocrite and all that type of thing. None of it was engaging the accusation. So let's look at another person that they're trying to fire. Now, this person's name was Alexi. I think it was Alexi McAmmon. Basically, she worked at Teen. She was recently hired as a editor at Teen Vogue, and people found her tweets of that she tweeted out when she was a teenager. And let's look at the tweets. One of the tweets said, "Outdone by an Asian. What's new? And now Googling how not to wake up with swollen Asian eyes." Okay. Another tweet said, "Give me a 2 out of 10 on my chemistry problem. Cross out all my work and don't explain what I did wrong. Thanks a lot, stupid Asian TA." So she said she was going to wake out. She was outdone by an Asian. She woke up with swollen Asian eyes. I guess her eyes look Asian-like when they get swollen. And she called an Asian stupid. All of this when she was a teenager, and she was forced to resign. And a lot of Asians were behind this. Okay, I don't ever want to degrade bias, but that was pretty mild. And it was when she was a teenager, but what's worse about this is the hypocrisy. Okay, there is a K-pop group, a music group called BTS. I'm going to link the video, but it's a 17-minute video of someone overviewing all the anti-black and anti-brown comments and statements and actions of the music group. But they're not canceled, okay? And they're not teenagers. The oldest member is 28. And agents are guarding them with their life. There's this complete hypocrisy and double standard, which is why I believe we can trust Asians. Asians seem to have this blind spot. They see themselves as angels, which is what a lot of white caste people sometimes see themselves as. They're flawless angels that can do no wrong. They're basically infatuated with themselves and infatuated with whiteness where they can't see a flaw in themselves, which is why they can't engage challenges out of some sort. It's almost this like disassociation from reality where they don't want to engage reality. They just want to live in a world where they're perfect angels. That would be one thing, but then they see us as these in this distorted, magnified way where they have adopted the propaganda where we're like these monstrous thugs, and their reaction to any slights against them, which you can see here, is to eliminate and to terminate. They seem to gain this courage and bring out this hammer when it's a black cast person or an ADOS, but when it's a white cast person, they suddenly become meek and subdued, which is a part of playing the role of model minority and not wanting to rock the boat to maintain and eventually gain a white caste status, which they did. A lot of people use the term Eurocentric features. There's no such thing as Eurocentric features, especially now because with the rise of K-pop, the average Asian feature, white Asian feature, pale Asian feature is becoming the standard. Okay, there are white cast people of European ancestry getting surgeries to look stereotypically Asian. White Asians have the highest salaries in America. White Asians turned a blind eye to police brutality until um, the lacking of the police affected them. White Asians are still going to tell their kids not to date black cast ADOS, people of color. Okay, white Asians are already successful in gaining white status, and they might be the top of the white hierarchy if they're not already. Okay, so that's what I just want to talk about, why we shouldn't trust white Asians. The shooting was regrettable. I don't condone violence. It's sad that I had to use that to highlight how anti-black white cast people can be, but that's what happened. And I still hope to find solidarity with Asians that don't hold that ideology, and with brown Asians. But that's all.